Los Angeles looks brand fucking new. Like nothing has happened to it. When in the story, the first Twisted Metal took place entirely in Los Angeles. The first level of Twisted Metal 2 took place there. And there was like a big earthquake. And shouldn't the city be destroyed? And one last thing about Los Angeles and Twisted Metal. I know I'm just really stretching this now, but just one last thing. It's kind of an overused city in Twisted Metal. I guess it's a trademark thing for them, but as I said, it was entirely in the first game. It was one of the levels in the second, one in the third, and one of the levels in Head On. It's kind of an overused city. But anyway, that's it for the stages and bosses. Overall, they're pretty good. Now, next up is the soundtrack. One of the things that I think everyone likes about Twisted Metal 3, even people who hate the game. The soundtrack is well known for having music by Rob Zombie, mostly, but also by a band called Pitch Shifter, who I don't really know. And there are a few songs done by the guy who did the music for Twisted Metal in the previous games. So, overall, the soundtrack is pretty good, especially the stuff by Rob Zombie. I really like his Christmas theme version of More Human Than Human for the North Pole level. The music in London is awesome, and Meet the Creeper is one of the best songs for going with the final level of a cool game. So the soundtrack is one thing that adds to this game. Now, next up are the endings. One of the major things that people hate about this game. They say the endings suck, the wishes were stupid, how Calypso granted them was bullshit. To be honest, yes, most of them were stupid. Like, I know everyone knows this, but Augur's ending, he's like, in his bio, he says he's like out for revenge against people that ruined his roads and buildings and the previous tournaments. But then when he wins, he wishes for people to see his inner child. I know everybody knows this, but I'm just pointing it out. Axel's was shit. He wishes for to be one with his machine, which wasn't bad, but Calypso grants it, and then Axel's part of like a giant clock or something. Some of the endings actually weren't that bad though. Like Club Kids made perfect sense. It was a nice way to screw him over. Flower Powers wasn't that bad. Roadkills is actually pretty good. Outlaws was pretty nice. Binion and Sweet Tooth was okay. Warthogs was pretty good. And yeah, I think that's it though. Even the good endings needed work though. And the thing about this game is Calypso screws over everyone in their wishes. Except Outlaw, technically. He really granted... actually, and Augur. Outlaw and Augur, he just granted their wishes, actually. He technically didn't screw them over. But that's the thing about this game. The idea of him screwing people over with their wishes is good, but it shouldn't be done all the time. I'll admit that. And there is one ending in the game that I thought was a weird foreshadowing. Thumper's ending. Though it was stupid, he wishes to hang with his homies. I mean, that was pretty stupid, but at the end, Calypso says, hang in there, there's always next year's Twisted Metal. Well, when Twisted Metal 4 came out, he was a boss, so we can assume it was the same driver, but he was fighting as a boss instead of for a wish. Twisted Metal Black, he wasn't in the game, although I read that he was supposed to be, but he wasn't. Small Brawl, he wasn't, but that's an alternate story. Little RC cars being controlled by kids, which was kind of stupid. I think Small Brawl might be the one bad Twisted Metal, but I'm getting off topic. And then there's Head On. Thumper is back as a regular character, but then the character is, the driver, is replaced with some bitch we don't care about. So I really felt this was a weird foreshadowing for Thumper. But going back to the endings, they are pretty stupid, did need some work. Not all of them are that bad, but they all needed a lot of work. So the endings, yes, are bad. But I think I've covered more things so far that shows that this is a good game. Which brings us to the final and most important aspect of the game. The thing that actually makes a good video game. The gameplay. Now I'm going to come right out and say the gameplay of Twisted Metal 3 is fucking amazing and addictive. This is the real reason why I think Twisted Metal 3 is good, and it's actually better than Twisted Metal 2. The game is very different than Twisted Metal 1 and 2, but the gameplay here is a lot more smooth and improved on. As I said, bumping into a wall can be kind of weird, but that really doesn't interfere with the game. Although this game is not as fast as Twisted Metal 2, which I missed, other than that, the gameplay was improved. In the main area I think it was improved on was the difficulty. Yes, I'm going to say this, but Twisted Metal 2's major problem was its difficulty. At points, it just got way too fucking hard. Challenge is good, but Twisted Metal 2 at certain points was just bullshit. And in the difficulty, it was just bullshit. It was like, sometimes it was like everyone would aim for me, the player, everyone would aim for the player and not fight each other. Here in Twisted Metal 3, everyone fights each other. While sometimes the gameplay is still pretty intense. Projectiles shooting everywhere, shit just blowing up. That's one reason I also like this game. It's much more intense, even though it's not as fast. The only other things I don't like is that your machine guns in this game don't really do much. They don't do much damage, except when your enemy's health is low, I've noticed. I don't know why. And ramming isn't as deadly, except when your health, or the enemy's health is low. Then ramming, like the slightest touch or something, can be fucking deadly. And another thing I like about this, I think it goes back to the controls, but the ice attack is much easier to do. In Twisted Metal 2, it was kind of an essential attack to use. But at points in Twisted Metal 2, it wouldn't work. I know I was doing the code right. Even when I was under fire, I would play calm and do the combination slowly. Nothing would happen. And oftentimes when I was rushing to do it, the enemy would get away, and then it would fire. Bullshit. In Twisted Metal 3, the freeze attack is just, it works perfectly. The combination is the same, but it's easier to do here. It fires when you actually do the combination correctly. It doesn't bullshit around. So, as I said, the gameplay is easier. A challenge when it needs to be. Except for the final boss, he's actually harder than Darktooth. Even on easy, he's a bitch to fight. But overall, the gameplay I think was improved on a lot. So, gameplay, awesome. Now, that is the real reason why I think Twisted Metal 3 is awesome and a kick-ass game. Overall, Twisted Metal 3, A+. Great game. Stories and characters not too good, but gameplay, level design, graphics, soundtrack, badass. This game is pretty cool. And even David Jaffe admitted that. He said the game was cool, like, I guess gameplay-wise. So I think he kind of agrees with some of the people that don't like this, that like this game a little bit. The gameplay was good, but the stories and characters were shit. But I still do. A lot of people really need to give this game more credit. I mean, look, this greatest hits. This game was a fucking commercial success, according to from what I read online. And there are a lot of people out there. Trust me, I've seen it who enjoy the 989 Twisted Metal games. And it's brought me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, hours of enjoyment. The gameplay is just fun, as I said. The stories are stupid, but the soundtrack is kick-ass to listen to. And overall, it's just a great game. Now, it's perfectly debatable whether it's better than Twisted Metal 2, but I don't see how it's debatable whether it's a good game. 989 should be proud of this game, and I really wish 989 didn't have to leave. They were a pretty cool video game company. I mean, Why couldn't someone like EA leave? They're a shitty video game company now. They make like 100 video games a year, and only one or two of them are decent. But that's me getting off topic again. So, I think the creators, including the original creators, such as David Jaffe and everyone, should be proud of this game. It's a nice addition to the series. And I got nothing else to say really, except to all you people out there who reviewed this game and Twisted Metal 4 and said it was bad, you people sucked at reviewing video games. I know I'm not good at this. I know I've probably made some errors throughout this review, but that's one of the main reasons I made this video. Number one, to defend one of my favorite games. Number two, a lot of the people who I saw reviewing Twisted Metal 3 and 4 sucked really badly at reviewing video games. For the stupidest reasons, they would say these games are bad, and they would talk very low and very unconfidently, like they had stage fright or something. And the people, eventually, they were just so bad, I had to make my review. Sorry. Again, I know I'm not the perfect video game reviewer. I probably made some mistakes in this. But this is my first video game review, and I thought I'd give it a try. And overall, I think it went well, and this game's pretty good. To all you people who think it's bad, keep your shitty video game reviews to yourself. Now, I think I better wrap this up, because I'm just dragging this on now. I'm sorry, but all I gotta say is, God bless Twisted Metal 3. And the new game coming out. I've seen trailers of the new game, and all I gotta say is, stay twisted, all you Twisted Metal fans. Yeah, I know that was a cheesy line, but stay twisted, because the one thing that's really gonna push the PlayStation 3 beyond the Xbox 360 and kick ass. Overall, long live Twisted Metal, and I hope the new game comes out soon. So, see you later.